the way I look at it is our customers are not paying us to, collect from other customers or to pay our vendors or to process our payroll or any of those internal costs that we need to incur to run our business. So I look at those areas as opportunities for us to really leverage automation to maximize the flow and cost effectiveness of those functions, right? Because a customer doesn't care if we pay our vendors on time or pay them at all. They just want their product for the price they want to pay. So we need to do that as effectively and as efficiently as possible. And that's one of the things we're doing with the Center of Excellence is standardizing processes, which will allow us to implement more automation and get to a point, I have an example from, a previous company from Ultra where, we had, accounts payable in the US, 80% of our invoices that had POs never touched a person. Because we worked really hard on the upstream and the downstream processes to make sure that purchase orders had the right price, the right quantities, so that when we got the invoice, it would match. We worked with people on how to receive things in so that the system could do all that work. And then we could have, the brain power of the group focusing on the exceptions and the one-offs. That's where you want to focus the brain power and let the computer do the rest of the work for the stuff that, is following the process. I came into a company that was embedded in lean from a manufacturing standpoint, went to the required mandatory orientation session to learn about it. And then, when I moved into a senior management role and started getting more involved out at the manufacturing locations in lean activities, really started to see that, and as I got to understand it better, that it's a continuous improvement mindset, one, but it's improving processes. And yes, it's always been tethered in manufacturing. I just stepped back and said, finance, there's a lot of processes in finance. So we should be able to take all these tools and apply them in tax, in a shared services center, in, our monthly reporting processes. And how could we leverage lean and the methodologies within lean within finance? And, there's been lean accounting out there, and we, took a look at lean accounting and how we could use it. We actually had, I've had, some businesses where we actually ran the business utilizing lean accounting, and it presents some challenges. And frankly, a lot of businesses aren't ready to be able to do that. Either they don't turn inventory enough to comply with the accounting rules to be able to use lean or whatever it is. But this was more than just lean accounting. It was really, embedding that continuous improvement mindset within a finance organization and ultimately trying to create a large population of problem solvers and utilizing those lean frameworks to go about solving those problems in a systematic way and linking it all back to these different, these different guideposts within lean. So I keep saying standardizing all of our processes, right? Standard work is, one of the cornerstones of lean because it allows you to measure, are you deviating from what you thought was the standard process? And I started mandating that every new finance hire from an AR associate up to a business unit controller had to go through our lean orientation training that they had to familiarize themselves because it was part of our culture. I think exposure to it earlier is always better, just so it starts getting to be part of your mindset. Right. It's really hard. And I struggled with it early on as well. It's really hard not to have pride and ownership. Right. You create something, you think you've done a really good job, it's working. And then someone comes along and says, hey, have you thought about doing this? And your instant reaction is, well, no, this works. Why would we change it? But let's call it as I see it is none of us are perfect. None of us ever reach perfection. There's always going to be an opportunity to improve something. But being comfortable with letting someone, poke holes in a process you have or, some report that you developed or whatever it is, it's hard. And getting comfortable that it's not a critique necessarily of your work. It's an improvement opportunity and taking that as an improvement opportunity, which benefits the business and the overall enterprise, is something we should all want to do. Because at the end of the day, we all want to maximize the performance of the enterprise. So anything we can do to help that, we should be embracing.